What's up, brothers? Coming back at you. We are currently doing another Volvo video. It's time to replace that angle gear. Somebody was doing burnouts out there. I think that was my old man, by the way. That's pretty good. But anyway, so we're gonna replace this angle gear because, as you Volvo guys know,
wrong. Angle gear collar.
We're gonna replace the angle gear collar because, as you Volvo guys know, they go bad and then you are ruined, and it's very expensive to replace if it actually does go bad. So we're gonna cut it off before it actually happens. So let's get into it. This is the replacement collar. It's billet. Full boy. It's got the snap ring in here. It's pretty heavy duty. Some serious stuff. And the part number, yeah, he's got part numbers. Here are the Volvo part numbers if you're looking for them.
134-37983. It's a service kit.
And it comes with everything. It comes with the snap ring, or it comes with the collar, it comes with bolts, it comes with the gaskets, seals and everything. So that'll be the best set for you. It's 150 bucks or something, or 200, 150 to 200. Okay, so he took the tire off, and now he's currently getting the lower ball joint removed. If you remember seeing the bushing video, I'll put a link up here. Wow, well, up here. And you put the pry bar in there, pull that bad boy down, and it lets you remove said knuckle. Yeah. Disclaimer, it will mangle your control arm. So you can only do it so many times before you're gonna have to replace the arm. So you can see how it's peeling. This one's been done about 3 times probably. And so probably the next time. And that ring that goes in between the axle and the bearing, it's a dust shield. Definitely want to put that back on. What I did was I was prying down on this as he was pushing up and pulling it out on that. And now he is taking off the bearing support for the axle. Let's see here. So the bearing support he's taking off right now. What size are they? 12s. And then he's gonna have to pry it apart because it's not just gonna come apart, especially as crusty rusty as it is. Do that again? Oh. There, perfect. That's exactly what he just did.
Are you not filming?
I am now. Now it's just gonna slide out with the axle. That thing is long. I didn't realize it was gonna be that long. Jeez. I think it had about 3 foot inside that diff. Now the next phase here is just to remove these bolts around the transmission itself to remove this whole angle gear here. Next is to remove the drive shaft. It has these prop shaft. It has these torque heads on it, or not torques, Allens, and we got to remove that. So what size was that? 6. So using that with a wobble head extension is perfect to get around the actual shaft of the prop shaft. Okay, so now that the propeller shaft has been loosened, it is now time to remove, not the plate, the whole joint.
Oh God.
So the challenge here is that the drive shaft, or the prop shaft, is very nicely tight inside of the yoke in the angle gear. So what we did is we greased it up, put the penetrating on. So he's using power tool. He's going to use an air hammer. You can use a hammer and chisel as well. It's just that this is what we have as a function. And it will mangle the edge of this a little bit, but it'll vibrate and push it out like we want it to. As long as we're gentle, we won't hurt it too bad. There it is. And there it is. It's that simple. See, it didn't take much vibrating. It just need a little bit to get it to move. Now he's just prying it out so it's completely out of the way.
We don't have the rest of it unbolted.
Yeah.
The rest of the prop shaft unbolted.
Right. None of the other bolts, not the rear, not the support bearing. He's just getting a screwdriver behind it to compress it just enough so I can slip it out to the side there. So the last piece here to pull it down are the bolts that are actually holding it in place, which are all the bolts that go around the flange of the angle gear. And the new bolts, there's 5 of them, so we know there's gonna be 5 on here. He's sneaking up on the top side here to get the other ones. Anything special you're using?
No.
He's just using his 14, or is it a 15? Yeah, 14. Yep. Shallow 14 around, and then he's doing it up there, doing a little reach around.
4 in a row, and then you skip one. It's not actually for the angle gear, it's for the motor mount here. So then next.
And you can see that one up there. It's the motor mount there.
It's not this one, it's the one on the inside.
Oh, okay. Going all the way up on the top side there. So now all the bolts are out, and we got a 50-50 chance whether that collar's gonna stay in the trans or come with the angle gear. And we're hoping that it's gonna come with the angle gear. About to find out. I'm gonna hold the drive shaft. Pulls it out. Oh, is this thing gonna leak a bunch of fluid when it does?
Maybe.
Maybe I should get a catcher. It's dry as a bone. There's no fluid left in it. This here hitting this here.
Can you hold that down?
Is that a rubber hose?
Yeah.
Just don't ruin my finger. Woo. There you go. Oh, it's coming out. Coming out. There it is.
Jeez.
And this is the collar we're looking to replace. So it did exactly what we didn't want it to do. It's in the trans. So it's gonna be a little more difficult to pull it out, but we're gonna get it out and we'll show you how. So he's currently removing that snap ring that goes in the middle of the collar, seeing if that's gonna give us a little bit of an advantage here. So a good pair of snap ring pliers will help you out. Now it's removed and there's nothing in the way of pulling us out. But now at least we can get in there a little better with penetrating oil or whatever we need to use to get that out. So the way that we're gonna change the game here is he's gonna take the angle grinder. He's gonna cut 2 notches in it. We'll rotate, we'll cut one, and then directly on the other side we'll cut another notch. And then he's gonna put a socket in the middle and then use a 2-jaw puller, this one here, to grab the outside edges of the collar and then put the socket. It's just small enough to get in the center there, but not too big. It's, you know, it's enough to get in on that inner spline and not hit the collar itself. So it'll press against that and pull the rest out, because we're replacing that seal that's in there, so we're not worried about that. And the rest of it's steel in there anyway, so we're not gonna hurt it. So now that he has his...
What I have done did.
Yeah. So he cut it wide enough so the fingers for the puller will get in there, and he's got the same socket we were talking about. So what he's doing right now is tightening the bar that goes in between the 2 jaws so that it holds it as tight as possible on the collar itself, so that when we pull it, it won't skip out of the groove there. And another thing that you want to be aware of is when you're making your cuts, they have to be the same distance off the edge of the collar, because if they're not, then the puller won't be directly perpendicular with the collar, and it'll pull to the side, and you don't have the leverage that you're looking for. And don't forget to put the car in gear, because otherwise it'll just keep spinning. Yep, make sure it's seated all the way. We cheated. We used our hot rod, which is an amazing tool, honestly, if you're doing a lot of rusty work or need a lot of heat in specific areas.
Virginia.
Yeah, if you're anywhere above Virginia, this is the tool to get. I'll put it in the description. I got it off Amazon as well. Oh, we're finally leaking now that the seal's going bad. Hold on, let me get a catcher. Catcher.
I don't know if
Go.
went in here, Ari.
And so, using the hot rod was clutch to heat that up and actually get this thing to work. Oh no, I just missed it. We thought we got oil inside this thing. Luckily, it just missed the side. That would have been a mess. But anyway, awesome tool if you're trying to heat something and not torch everything up. And so we bought a set where we have like 7 of these, and we wired one around it. And it's coming out like a glove. Coming out smoothly. And there it is. So what actually goes bad with these collars anyway?
They strip the splines.
They start stripping the splines,
Yeah.
okay.
So they get a little wiggle, and then a lot of wiggle, and then they strip.
Okay, so we're just cutting it off.
This one actually doesn't look bad.
But it's not bad to do it just in case.
The seal was leaking, so.
And it's definitely leaking now. Look at her, Jesus. Oh my God. So we're gonna replace the seal. We're gonna pop the seal out with a screwdriver. Oh, he's pulling said seal. Get the screwdriver on the side. You saw that, guys? And then you can get the other one right on the shaft too. Ready? Oh.
That was half the seal.
That was the spring. Beautiful. And both of those seals come with the kit, so we don't have to worry about Save it and replace them. And now you can see that green O-ring. We gotta get that out with a little fork tool and replace that one. I missed him pulling the seal out, the green O-ring that goes on the side. Basically takes this little tool here, gets in there, and digs into the side. Oh, digs into the side and pulls it out that way. While he's here, you're gonna drain trans fluid.
Nate, where are we? What step? What are you doing?
Putting this in there.
Okay, we're putting this in that hole.
New O-ring in the hole.
Putting das new O-ring in das hole.
It's pretty dirty, a little milky. Well, not milky, but it's got that little metallic look.
Dude, we're about to find out if it's milky.
Taste it, taste it. Oh.
It's like Funyuns.
Time to reinstall the angle gear into the car. It's drained, but we're gonna fill once it's in there for the level fill. He's gonna toss it right in there.
Modifications made. Now let's go back. Jesus, look how much easier that might be.
Yeah, without that being in the way. So there's a little tab that holds the splash guard under on the bottom. He said, we don't care about that no mo. So he sent it. Now he's going on.
Is it in gear already?
Most likely.
Can you get that in here?
Yeah. Just had to put it in neutral, so it put that collar would spin easy. And now she's seated all the way in. You don't have to have anything holding it, the collar holds it in place. So you wanna make sure that when you're putting in your angle gear, that you're also setting the prop shaft in at the same time, because then you're gonna be pinned up against it. So if you have all your bolts out and you can still rotate, it'll be a lot easier to get the drive shaft in. And with the one Volvo here, it has those two holes. So just make sure for your angle
Same
gear.
Same one for
automatic.
And manual.
Yeah. So they have two holes to switch. So just make sure you're on the right side for this is a manual, so make sure you're on the right side.
Give me the good deets. What are we doing?
Oh, I was
him or him?
I was filling the transmission because we drained it, you saw. And if you notice, we have the angle gear in here, and the fluid actually goes from the angle gear to the transmission. And I was filling it here, and it's actually coming out of the seal. So now we're gonna throw this shaft in here real quick to seal it up because we didn't realize that it was actually gonna go all the way through. And you just gotta make sure that your cap for the bearing lines up with the other one. Otherwise, it's not fully seated. You gotta come out this way, though. You just gotta. There you go. Slid right into place. Alright, that's good. Now we have no leaks. Now that we've got all the new bolts in, it's a lot easier to see which bolts are supposed to be taken out. Obviously the three here are really easy to see. And then up on the top, you can see that this bolt is one, and then you see this bolt here, and there's one directly behind it that's for the angle gear. So this one's actually for the motor mount, you don't want to remove that. The one behind it here is right there tucked into a hole. It's kind of hard to see with this lens. It's back there. All right, got the drive shaft up and tight. So the one thing you want to do is kind of pull the plunger out and line up the holes so that when you go in it's easier so you're not hunting for it. And then make sure to put your straps on when you do, because if your straps aren't on then you gotta take them back off. And what I do is I get them just up to the flange and then I go around in a circle to keep tightening it so it brings it in as a hole instead of it going sideways and crooked and you can hurt something that way. And as I'm doing that, Nate just filled up the angle gear with the fluid. Just remember to check which fluid specifically you're using so that you're using the right one for the angle gear, because the angle gear and the transmission do use a different type of fluid. And don't forget your two bolts that hold the axle bearing on to that. If you don't put that on, you're gonna have a bad day. So now that everything is tight, gotta put the axle into the knuckle still, and then put the ball joint into there. And one foul swoop. And don't forget your axle dust boot.
Apparently it's very important.
Don't reuse your axle bolts, kids. Not supposed to, but we're doing it anyway. And these ones are 27 foot-pounds, I believe, or 35. That one's 250 is good. On there. That wraps up the angle gear collar video. We still have yet to put the exhaust on, but you'll see that in the other video. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions about putting that thing together or pulling it apart, please ask. We always answer our comments. We're happy to help you guys out in anything that we're doing. And yeah, that's a good done deal. Still need to put that seal in the angle gear because it's leaking on the outside, but that did not come in the kit. So I'll have to get that separately and do that. Anyway, but
the hard part's done.
Hard part's done, collar's done. Now we're good to go for another 100,000 miles or something like that. So anyway, see you guys on the next one.